During the iPhone 15 Pro launch event, Apple touted this device as a monster gaming machine. But after we've had this for several months now, does it actually live up to what they said? Well, let's dive a bit deeper and see what the real-world results have been. When they first announced games like Resident Evil Village would be coming to this device and running natively on it, I really didn't believe it was possible. But after we've seen some demos, it certainly is, with one obvious strong caveat. The fact that this device runs these games in extremely low resolution and, of course, extremely low and inconsistent frame rates. So for people that aren't used to a really high performance gaming machine, this is probably totally okay for them. But for anyone who's experienced high FPS gameplay, it's going to be really tough to enjoy an experience like this on your phone. Sure, it is super cool that it's something you can do completely on the go, for example on a plane or something, but I can't see justifying paying for a AAA title to play in this kind of a condition. If it's something you're going to be doing at home, it's going to be really not enjoyable, and you're much better off just sticking to a traditional console or PC counterpart. This is something I could definitely see developing extensively in the future, but again, I really do think it's going to take many years before we are ready for AAA titles to be running on a cell phone. The other big issue is that these games are not selling well on the Apple Store. And they've reported that only a few thousand copies have been sold, which if you compare to the millions that are shipped with other apps, it's really not looking great for the future of this tech. And it's unlikely that Apple is going to go a long way to invest in this if the market has said that they don't even really want it. And I think that's the key issue. For a lot of more mobile-oriented games, like Genshin Impact, for example, this can be a really compelling and cool experience, but if you change to something more like Resident Evil, like we mentioned before, it's still a little bit too graphic intensive for these mobile platforms. And that's in the capacity of heat dissipation, of battery life, of course, and other restrictions that you have when you have such a small enclosure. Another big issue is that these games are mostly designed with next-gen hardware and PCs in mind, so although the iPhone 15 Pro has a lot of RAM for a phone, it doesn't have a lot when it comes to the machines that these games are used to running on, with 10, 12 gigabytes of video RAM, 32 gigabytes of dedicated system RAM. So there's always going to be a big trade-off when you're trying to downscale these games to run in an environment like that is more analogous to technology from the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One era. Now don't get me wrong, a lot of these games look really, really good. And the temperatures like you're seeing on screen here at under 40 degrees Celsius, they managed to keep these enclosures really nice during more intense workflows, which is much more than most of what we do in our general day-to-day content consumption on a cell phone. So I think there's still, in the end, going to be a lot of promise in the future for tech like this. And I hope that they don't give up based on the less than optimal sales that there's been up until this point, because I'm really sure there is a future for tech like this. And I think that's really just the main thing that's holding consumers back, is that it's not worth spending the full retail price when the experience is not the full retail experience yet. It seems like we're sort of in like the alpha or beta stage of a lot of these mobile games, and it just needs more time to mature and for the technology to advance before it's a really compelling offering, especially for people that are more used to more advanced gaming scenarios like I mentioned earlier. But of course, time will tell how far this technology really goes, but I'm excited to see it. If you like this content, please do like and subscribe. It helps me out a ton. I look forward to seeing you all in the next one. I'll see ya.